What's going on, Bauds? My name is Tarren, and I'm back with my co-host Justin,
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
and we're going to be recording a new episode for you guys today. So let's just jump right into it, Justin. Obviously, some big news has come out about Chelsea and about our record signing. So the guy we have literally spent almost 100 million pounds on, just under 98. I'm sure all you guys have heard the news by now about the interview he conducted secretly behind Chelsea's back without Thomas Tuchel knowing, without the board knowing, any of the players didn't even know. So I'm sure you guys have heard, the quotes and stuff. When it first came out, I thought like a lot of it was taken out of context and I didn't really want to judge it at first, but the stuff that he said about Chelsea, about like unhappy with the system and stuff about Thomas Tuchel, like I wasn't too upset with that because that interview was actually done 3 weeks ago or maybe 4 weeks ago now, just after the Manchester United game. So he didn't get to play in that game. Really, like he didn't start, and he came on at the end, and I can understand maybe he was a little upset. First of all, like I don't think you should be saying that publicly, but maybe that's just me. Yeah. But then it got really, really upsetting when it got to the Inter comments. That's where I was like, what are you doing? And I was a lot more upset about this when it first happened. I'm a little more relaxed about it now, but when I first saw like all the comments he was making about Inter, I was very upset. Like I was ready to just sell him this January transfer window, genuinely.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because if this was some like random dude on Chelsea who wasn't getting playing time, like sure, like so be it, man. But like this is your record signing coming out after just 5 months, I think it is, after signing with Chelsea, saying he loves Inter Milan. Like that's just totally unprofessional for me. And he hasn't done anything yet. I feel like notable in a Chelsea shirt. So I don't know why he's talking as if he's won you guys the treble. So it's really weird. I don't think it's weird because I've had Lukaku on United before and he didn't really say anything like this. We kind of just sold him, didn't really have the biggest breakup, but it's whatever. But to see this, like I'm shocked because he was someone who apparently loved Chelsea and wants to, return there, which he did, and have all this redemption and just, pretty much throw that all out in one interview is kind of interesting to see. So I was kind of thinking the same thing as you. If I was Chelsea, I would kind of sell him in January. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I feel like those comments are kind of like, you can't really come back from that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so I think the Inter, like it really made no sense because literally he's been on Chelsea for 4 months. Signed him 4 months ago, or maybe 5 now. When the interview was done, it was 4 months, and he was injured or out with COVID for 2 months. Yeah. So really, you've been only able to play for 2 months. Like I don't know what else you expect of Thomas Tuchel, but if I'm in his position, I'm also not going to play our record signing every game and start him every game if he's just coming back from injury and then got COVID. Yeah, like, what do you expect him to do?
Yeah, no, I feel like again, it's just he has like this ego, if you want to call it that, just like as if he's the biggest player in the world, but he's done absolutely nothing for the club. Everyone on that Chelsea team has actually produced, minus Saul, has actually produced for the club in some way, shape, or form, except him. So it's like I don't get why he's coming out and talking like this. Like if this was like even Pulisic, he was like, yeah, man, I don't really like it here at Chelsea. I'd want to go back to Dortmund. Like, sure, at least he helped you guys win the Champions League. But like Lukaku, he's so far done nothing in terms of like bringing in trophies and success. So I really don't know where he's coming from there. I just think it's really unprofessional. And, if you watch the interview back, he's like, I'm going to keep this professional, and then proceeded to be totally unprofessional. And some of those comments I thought were fake. And then like you watch the clips, and it's like, how did he actually say this, And granted, it was a month ago, but still, like, I don't know why he said this. And, I know we talked about this too. It'll bring, a reek in the dressing room. Players are going to start, there's going to be a division in there. Maybe some players like Ziyech aren't going to, rock with Tuchel anymore. And, it's just not what you want to see.
Well, and that's what I thought. I thought this could ruin our season, right? Because you're going to start creating, division in the locker room. Some players are going to side with Thomas Tuchel. Some players are going to side with Lukaku to become a whole thing. And that's definitely what I thought was going to happen. But it seems that, especially from that Liverpool game, 2-2, that it almost galvanized the squad and made them want to play even better. Because the worst part about this is we're in turmoil right now as a club. Like, we're struggling. We're at a low point of our season. I mean, I know we're still in second, but like we're not up to our best. And so for this to come out at this moment, it's like the worst timing, right? So, but it almost looked like it made the players want to fight even harder. So against that Liverpool side, we were down 2-0, and they had like some resurgence, and they really went for it. And I thought we deserved the win, honestly. I thought we played better than Liverpool. So maybe this will get them playing like that. It seems like the players are pretty much backing Tuchel in this whole ordeal. So I was very worried about the division, but it's not looking like that's going to be a huge issue. I did want to say, though, like you mentioned, Pulisic, like there are players on this Chelsea team who have had way worse experiences. Like Ziyech wasn't played for months pretty much. Pulisic is now getting played at wing back, or he gets played out of position quite often, doesn't get to start a lot. And Cho is a left winger getting played at right wing back. You know what I mean? Like, so these kind of players, even Werner was played at left wing a lot of the time. These players are played out of position or not played, and they're not saying anything. I want to bring up this one huge key component, and this is why what Lukaku did, like, really did piss me off, because with Lampard, he didn't really play Werner in the correct position all the time, because at striker you saw Werner wasn't giving the production, right? Yeah. And when Lampard got sacked, Werner came out publicly said, like, I take blame for this. I did not live up to my potential. I didn't put in the good performances. I feel like this is on me that our manager got sacked.
Yeah.
Right. And that made me feel like a lot more respect for Werner, because he wasn't performing. And he took ownership of it. You know what I mean? Lukaku has like 5 goals like all season, and you're coming out talking like, basically it almost seems like he wants a new manager. And like, I don't know, this guy won us a Champions League. You only costed us 98 million for 5 goals.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, like I said, if he was on the team last year, then like, so be it, man. You brought Chelsea back to the glory. Maybe you just want a new system and you want to maybe go back to Inter. Like, hey, you did your time. Like you just said, he has 5 goals for the club, and you guys aren't in first place. You're in the semifinals of the League Cup, and like, Champions League. We haven't entered the knockout stages just yet, so we don't know how that's gonna fall out. But he hasn't brought you guys success, and you guys are in those positions not because of him. It's like he's been out injured and COVID and all that stuff. So I don't know. I know we talked about this on the show before, and I asked you if you thought that you guys were better without Lukaku, and you said no at the time. Do you think maybe today that answer is different? Do you think you guys are better without him?
I still genuinely think we are better with Lukaku. Like, even with like these comments, like, maybe not, like, maybe I'd still rather him go. But if Lukaku is firing and playing at his best, we are better with Lukaku. Like, that's just how it goes. Like, if you take out Lukaku and you replace him with Pulisic, you're not going to get the same goal output. Havertz, you're not going to get the same goal output. Werner, you're not going to get the same goal output. So if Lukaku is actually playing at where he should be, then no, we're still better with Lukaku. But I would be perfectly fine if we got rid of him in the summer. And now he's linked with Tottenham to link back up with Conte. Yeah. So, like, if you want to go to Tottenham, be my guest, bro. Like, at the end of the day, if you would rather Tottenham over Chelsea,
just get out.
Please go. I'll give them. They can have him for free at that point. Go.
Yeah, no.
Because if you really think you're better off at Tottenham, then you're sadly mistaken. And enjoy that.
Yeah, it's just so weird because, like, he could have stayed, honestly, at Inter. Like, he could have taken some, form of a wage cut. I know he really loved Inter because Conte wanted him there, and Conte brought him there from United, and then granted Conte left. So I get that point. But, like, if you truly love the club as much as you say you do, and if you love the club, to say, oh yeah, Lautaro Martinez, stay at Inter, don't come to Chelsea. Like if you love the club that
That
much,
was so bad.
then you could have taken a wage cut. It's
Yeah.
like not that big of a deal, but clearly, something's in the water there. I feel like whether it's from Lukaku or Tuchel or Abramovich, I feel like there might just be one thing that we don't know. I feel like there might be something that's just still under the rug to explain all these comments. But yeah, like you said,
there's nothing that they can like there's nothing that has gone on behind the scenes that can make that okay. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's literally like I don't think there's it because it's not like Thomas Tuchel isn't playing him for like no reason. Like you're just coming back from injury and then you got COVID, so and he's still like playing him. He's just like a rotation kind of, and he was playing as a sub because he couldn't play the full 90. And when he has played, he gets tired fast.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's because he just like came back from COVID and like maybe that's it, or I don't know, or maybe back from injury, but he's getting tired fast. So I don't know. The comments literally made no sense, and the ones about Inter just like they just pissed me off because again, like you said, if you love Inter that much, then you should have stayed. You could have taken a paid cut, and he even said like, I felt like we could have won still with Inzaghi. Like I felt like I could have won and I could have worked with Inzaghi. So stay with Inzaghi then, man. Like I don't like and the like you mentioned when they said like, oh, he was saying like, oh, Lautaro Martinez, like he's my brother, like I would die on the pitch for him, and they're like, would you ever think about Lautaro coming here? He's like, no, stay there, I'm gonna come back. Like really, bro? Really? Like
yeah, like that's horrible.
You cannot do that, bro.
Yeah, like I remember, I don't know if, well, granted, this was a couple of years ago now, so I don't really know if this is 100% true, but I remember reading way back when that Pogba had said something like, yeah, I would love for Dybala to come to Man U because I loved him so much at Juventus. Like, that's what Lukaku should have said. He should have been like, yeah, I love this guy like my brother. I want him at Chelsea to play with me. Like, I feel like that, I don't know about you, but to me, that's the worst comment. Like, nah, bro, you stay there. I'm going to come back. It's like, at that point, okay, just go in the summer. Like, you came on a 1-year rental. We'll just sell you back to Inter Milan,
Yeah, I think for me, the worst comment was when he said, you think in the prime of your career, you would get a move to a club like Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Bayern Munich. That's his exact words. Like, those are the top clubs in the world. And fair enough for Bayern. Like, Bayern, I get they're like one of the best clubs in the world, multiple Champions Leagues and stuff. But the league is garbage. Like, it just is. And then Real Madrid, I understand because they're probably the best club in soccer history, like the football history. Like Real Madrid are just that club, huge history, and they're still good right now. So, okay, Barcelona. Barcelona are a joke. Do you want to go to Barcelona? Because like, if you want to go Lukaku to Barcelona, man, like go, please enjoy. Let's see you try and win with them. Like you're definitely gonna have a worse time. So I thought that comment was the worst. He said, like, you think you're going to get a move to one of those clubs, and it didn't happen. So like basically we're like second option basically. Like we're and when he came in the summer, he said, like I love Inter, but Chelsea is my club. Like the only team I would have left Inter for is Chelsea. Like that's a team in my heart. I'm a Chelsea boy. And now he's coming out basically saying, I love Inter the most, and Inter's the best, and so like which is it, man? You're contradicting yourself. You're looking like a fool, and you're making us look like fools. Like this whole thing, like Chelsea fans have been clowned for like a whole week now. Like we're just getting roasted on everywhere. So like, do you love Chelsea? Because you're not making me feel like it. You're making me feel like you hate us and you hate Chelsea, and all we've done is support this guy through all his bullshit.
Yeah. And it's a weird one because I just remember when he was like on United and we spent, I think it was either 75 or 80 mil. So still a lot of, it's not just pocketing. That's a lot of money. And, he had a great start with us, and then there's some tension. And I remember, when we played him as a winger, believe it or not, he played, like in my opinion, he played amazing as a winger. He was, on the right. For whatever reason, he was a better dribbler on the wing, got some great crossing, all that stuff. And I remember Solskjaer said from the summer, he was like, yeah, like going forward, if you're going to be in my system, I want you as a winger. Kind of like when Eto'o was at Inter Milan with, funny enough, Inter Milan, but with Mourinho. And he's like, nah, I don't want to play there. So I was like, okay, whatever, we'll send you off. And I remember the first thing he said was I hated the system that I played in. So it's like he's complained about the system before in the past. So I'm not even surprised that there is a system comment now. But we could talk about playing into systems later on in the show. But if the system works, just play into it. Like you guys just won the Champions League, you know?
But
Like what more could you ask for?
but the difference is, right, Man United's system is not really like it's not like a Lukaku like system. It's not what he's used to playing. And especially like as a winger, like even against Tottenham, he drifted out wide for some of it. And like you said, like he had better dribbling and he was like fast and he
Yeah.
was actually playing good, like kind of out wide. But here's the thing, right? This like it at Inter, did he not play a five at the back with
Yeah.
Antonio Conte?
Yeah.
And so you come here, are you not playing a five at the back? The only difference is instead of having a second striker beside him, he has Mason Mount and Kai Havertz behind him. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So is that enough to make you feel like you need to leave? Like really? You instead of having a second, and then we tried a second striker too with Werner, and then they both got injured in the same game. So literally, like Thomas Tuchel could not have done anything else for this guy,
Yeah.
and he's already complaining. You're not bigger than the club. If that, it seems like he thinks he's bigger than the club. You're not bigger than the club, and this is not the NBA. He's acting like an NBA star. It's not, bro. This is football. Like you need to relax, man. You're not an NBA star, and you haven't won anything with us, man. Like
Yeah.
you don't have power over the club. You're not bigger than Thomas Tuchel. I'll tell you that. And I was scared, but with Chelsea because we back players over the manager. We've always done that. That's why our managers get sacked fast. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was scared this was gonna become a whole thing, and we were gonna sack Thomas Tuchel, and we're not gonna get someone better than Thomas Tuchel. There's no one that we can get right now that's better than Tom. I think he's probably a top 3 manager in the world, if not top 5. Like that's minimum is top 5. We're not gonna get someone better than him right now if we sack him. So I thought this was gonna be a huge deal, but in the Liverpool game, it looked like it galvanized us, and against Tottenham. Like, I mean, we destroyed them. Lukaku didn't score, but we were just all over them. They couldn't do anything. So maybe this can revitalize their season even, and maybe it can go in the opposite direction that I thought. But I don't know, man. I'm not sure. The comments he made are just are shocking.
Yeah, and Chelsea are not a club that is afraid to spend. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they replace him with like I don't know who, but like could be like a Holland.
Yeah.
Holland, Vlahovic. Those are costly players, but I know like, oh, this guy doesn't want to be here. He can get out, and Abramovich will just spend the bag again, just a year later to bring someone new in. So, like you said, he has like this monster ego when he's done nothing for the club, really, So it's like I just don't get it. I think the best thing, unless something happens in the next 5 months, but I just think the best thing is to just move on from him this summer because I feel like you can't really go back from these comments.
I think there is a way. Like his apology. I don't know if you saw it or if any of you guys saw it. His apology seemed so fake. Like honestly, like I watched it and I was like, "There's no way," because it was released by Chelsea on the Fifth Stand app, like the Chelsea app. It was released all over their social medias. Like they were putting this out there, and I'm like, "There's no way they looked at this and thought we would think this is okay." It was so bad. I was like, "There's no way you guys didn't do a retake and be like, yo, can you seem a little more sincere?" Like
Yeah.
the apology was garbage, man. It didn't do anything for me. Definitely didn't make me forgive him. The only way I'll forgive him now, because it seems like that's the apology we're gonna get. The only way I'll forgive him now is if he gets to like 20 goals in the season. He starts banging them in and wins us either an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, Champions League, or if we can still somehow compete for the Premier League. I do think the race is over. I've conceded at this point that I think City won the league again. So boring. But if he could win us a trophy this season and bang in goals, I might forgive him. But the apology is not going to do anything for me. That was a terrible apology. It meant nothing to me.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I saw it too. And I was like, yeah, there's just no way that this is genuine at all. Then it's funny. I saw a post. It was like Abramovich on the phone. And the caption was like, all right, you guys can release his family now. it's like now that the apology dropped. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, I mean, on that note, I think we should segue here to the actual Liverpool and Chelsea game because that was a phenomenal game,
Great game.
Amongst all the turmoil, I thought I was really impressed. I did watch that game. First half was like blistering football throughout the whole 45 minutes. And yeah, second half was like, not as exciting, but overall as a game, it was just amazing.
Yeah, and we were honestly better than them right from the jump. We were playing better. Even with their goals, they were so unlucky, you know what I mean? Like, because we had great chances. Pulisic missed such a great chance, like literally just thrown onto a plate for him by Trent, and like he tried to go around the keeper and it just didn't work. But I thought we were better right from the jump. They just got some lucky breaks and some lucky goals. The Mane goal was nice, like, but there's really just nothing we could do about that. And then the Salah goal, like Marcus Alonso was just a piece of garbage at defending. I don't know what else to say. Like, he just can't defend. Like, Salah just ran right around. Like, he really had no work to do, like, for Marcus Alonso. Like, that was just such a bad matchup, and it showed. So yeah, like, that goal was not much we can do, but I thought we were better than them. And then the Kovacic goal was,
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
what a
I knew
pain.
he was gonna hit it, but I didn't think it was gonna go in because he was on the back foot. I'm like, oh, okay, he has to hit it. But I thought it was gonna be a miss hit, and boom, it went into the top corner. It's a great goal. It could be goal of the season contender for sure. Yeah, that was good. And then just a few minutes later, the Pulisic goal, great move from Conte to get him in through.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what Virgil van Dijk was doing there, to be honest, because like he just ran away. They're parallel to each other. He didn't run to him, and then Captain America just banged it in. The LeBron James of soccer. He just with a great goal. And then
it was a good goal. It was a good goal.
Yeah, it was a great goal. And then even towards the end, I forget if it was Mount or Havertz at the very end of the half missed. I thought it was going to be 3-2, but then it went wide. So that you guys almost had it. Yeah, you guys almost had a 3-2 lead going to the half, which would have been crazy.
Yeah, we almost had that game. We had chances, man. Like, we definitely could have beat them, but I'm not upset with the 2-2. Like, obviously it helps Man City a lot, so not the greatest result, but the fact that we were down 2-0, good comeback. But we definitely could have won for sure.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Just all around good game. Kovacic was outstanding. So happy to have him back from injury, and Conte too, man. This is why I say, like, even with Conte having injury issues, he's still the best CDM in the world. I don't care what anyone says. When he comes back and he's fit, game changer. Chelsea are so much better with Conte, and I don't know. Like, I feel like he's underrated going forward. Like, that pass he sent to Pulisic, like, he's this season, especially going forward, he's been so good, man. His transition play has been really good. So yeah, Conte is just, he's that guy for me. Like, he has to be the best CDM in the world still, and he's a joy to watch.
Yeah, him and Kovacic, they were just on it that game. I feel like that's really where the domination was. I feel like, that was one of the better coaches' performances in recent memory because he's been injured. So he played phenomenal, definitely man of the match for me. And yeah, do you think going forward that it will be Kovacic and Conte being in there? Because I know Jorginho didn't start. So do you think it'll be like that?
Jorginho's with injury as well, right? So Jorginho played with an injury, and I think it got a little worse. So Thomas Tuchel is looking for the rotation pieces. That's why he didn't play against Tottenham either. He did play against Tottenham, sorry. But we're seeing a lot more like Saul and
probably makes you really happy.
And Ruben Loftus-Cheek and stuff. But he definitely worsened the injury, so we can't rely on Jorginho like for every game the full 90 minutes right now, because we don't want to make it worse than it already has become. So like, the thing is with Conte, he's dealing with a lot of injuries, but when he comes back and he's fit, he's so good. So I think Kovacic will definitely be a main guy, and then the other position, the Conte, Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek, and Saul will be the rotation. Hopefully less Saul than anyone else. I know he had a good game against Tottenham, and but everyone's like going crazy. Like, I saw a post on like a Chelsea fan page, and it was like, I don't see the difference. It was a picture of Saul and then like rubbing glasses and then Fabregas. And I was like, whoa, relax. Okay. Like, Fabregas is one of the best midfielders in Premier League history. He was absolutely phenomenal for Chelsea. I never want to see that comparison again. I dislike I can't, bro. I had to unfollow that page. I couldn't deal with it because that was just like a disgrace.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing I saw was like, it was like Saul today, and then it was a picture of Zidane. Just went insane, apparently, But yeah, I mean, we've talked about Saul before, I just don't think he's going to stay at Chelsea. He might even, I don't think he will at this point, but there was conversation with us that he might even just get sent back in January, but I think he'll make it through the whole season. But yeah, I
think now he will, because that performance was good. It was good, but it wasn't great. Like, I don't know why people are saying it was great. He was pretty good at winning the ball back, but he lost the ball quite a bit too. Like, it wasn't just like all greatness. Like there was one point where he was running with the ball up the pitch and he's so slow. And I don't remember who, it might have been Lucas Moura. He just came from behind, like 10 yards behind, caught right up to him and stole the ball, and Saul fell. No
Yeah.
foul. It wasn't a foul. They just took the ball and then went on a counterattack. It's like, what are you doing, man? He just plays so slow. So like, I definitely don't think he'll stay. I think he will stay till the end of the season, but this is not going to be a buy thing.
Yeah. It's weird because I remember like just 2 windows ago, that guy was touted as like a 70 million pound midfielder. And, on this little load move to the Premier League, I feel like his stock is just dropped. And like, I don't even know if he'll be a starter by the time he gets back to Atletico Madrid, really. Like, I don't even know.
Well, he wasn't even when he left. Like,
Yeah.
that's why he wanted to leave. He fell out of favor. And so, I don't know, man. Like, even take this in though, right? Saul is not really playing. He's playing bad. Sometimes he's not playing in his favorite position. And he hasn't done a secret interview talking about, oh, I love Atletico Madrid. Like, there's none of that. So, I just, like, I don't know. That's very annoying. I did want to say quickly, for the Liverpool game, because like Lukaku didn't play, that was before his apology.
Yeah.
For the Liverpool game, Thomas Tuchel called in like the senior players. Like, it wasn't just his decision or whatever. He called in the senior players. I think they said 5 or 6. I only know of 4. It was Conte, because Conte's just been there for so long, and I don't think Conte is really the kind of guy to get into all of this, but you just kind of have to bring in Conte now. Like, their second highest paid player. He's been there for years now. So Conte was there. Azpilicueta, obviously, he's the captain. Rudiger, because Tuchel loves Rudiger. Rudiger's one of our leaders, and Jorginho. So those were like the 4 that were in. I don't know who the other 1 or 2 is. I would think maybe Mason Mount, or maybe Thiago Silva or something.
Yeah.
But maybe both of them. But I only know about those 4, and they all apparently agreed that Lukaku should sit out that game. So it definitely makes me happy to see that the team is backing Thomas Tuchel, and I think with this January transfer window, if we get some good pieces, I think we'll keep moving forward and moving on, and this won't ruin our season.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good to see. And, I'll make a funny analogy. I feel like if Chelsea are like the Avengers, I feel like Lukaku is like Captain Marvel. It's like, dude, you haven't actually done anything with us. It's like, why are you acting like you're better than us, So it's like, I'm glad that, they took that stand, because, those players that you mentioned have actually brought Chelsea silver, or this like a league title, FA Cup, Champions League. He has brought them a redemption tour, which hasn't really, kickstarted yet. So there's levels to this.
Exactly, right? Like, you just haven't done anything for us. So if he wants to go, then he can go. If he wants to, play good, and then do that, please. He said in the apology he loves Chelsea, and he's a Chelsea boy, and he wants to give his all for Chelsea. Okay, do it. You know what I mean? Like, start scoring goals then.
Yeah. He's 190 million, like you said, for 5 goals. It's not going to cut it so far, but for the lulz, I would love it if he got sold back to Inter in the summer. Don't know if it'll actually happen, but it'll be interesting to see how this transfer saga goes.
Well, I don't think they can afford him, right? Like, we paid almost 100 mil. Like, let's say we were going to sell him back. Like, Chelsea still needs something. We're a very like profit heavy club. We focus on making profits, and we only usually sign get new contracts for players if they're less than 30, like younger than 30. So we're very about the money, and that's why our director Marina Granovskaya is like one of the best in the world, and that's why she's there. So we would have to get like at least maybe 70 mil for him back, and I don't think Inter can do that. And he's making, for us, like, he's making over like almost 300K a week, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can afford that. He's definitely not willing to take a pay cut to stay at Inter, apparently. So you can't love it there that much. So I don't know where he'd go. If he wants to go to Tottenham, please be my guest. But let's move on from Lukaku. Let's move on to Man United.
Yeah, there's been some headlines about us this morning, but I think we got to focus on that Wolves performance at Old Trafford. Sorry. And I was going to say against Old Trafford because I feel like whenever we play at home, we're always like the away team. We never seem to win there for whatever reason nowadays. But it was just a really, shocking first half performance from us. I think they had 9 attempts on the net, and I think that's like Wolves' league record or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like we didn't play well. And, I've been really critical of managers in the past, such as like Ole. But I just think, at the end of the day, sometimes, you got to blame the players. And I feel like we just weren't on it that whole first half. Second half, we were unlucky because Bruno hit the crossbar. And then off of that, ensuing play, Ronaldo scored it, but it was an offside goal. But like, to be honest, they weren't even deserved goals. Like they were so against the run of play.
Yeah. Well, it was actually just offside. Like there's nothing you can do about that.
And like, I don't know. It was just really bad. But, I feel like everyone who's watching this has already heard about that performance. We were going to talk about the performance, but I did forget to mention, I don't know if you saw, but there are headlines that, and this makes me upset because I defend this player with my life, but there has been reports that Harry Maguire is leading a charge against Ronaldo. And I just read about this and I'm, fuming because, like I've been a defender of Harry Maguire.
I don't know why. He's absolutely garbage.
I don't know who Maguire thinks he is. It's kind of like Lukaku,
What do you mean? He's the captain.
Yeah. You have not brought anything to this football club at all.
He's your captain, though.
Is a 4-time Premier League champion, 3-time Premier League champion. He's won the FA Cup, won the Champions League, won the Ballon d'Or with United. I think if Maguire is going to lead a vendetta against Ronaldo, he needs to get out of the club. I'm done. I'm no longer defending Maguire. Rudiger is just a better player. There, I've said it.
I've been telling you. Thank you. Thanks for coming over.
I've said it. Harry Maguire is the 4th best center back at the club, okay? Varane's better, Bauds better, Lindelof is better. I don't care. Whoa. I'm actually so done.
Whoa, Phil Jones is also better.
Phil Jones against Wolverhampton was the best performance from an English center back in the Premier League this season. I don't want to hear it. He was world class against Wolves. But no, apparently it's Maguire. And, I hate to say this because, I love these two players. Apparently the 3 main guys are Maguire, Luke Shaw, and Wan-Bissaka. I loved all 3 of them. They're all England lads. They could get out of the club. They could leave.
The worst part is this season, those 3 players have been some of the worst performers for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire has sucked all season. Luke Shaw has been pretty average, if not even below average. Like Alex Telles looks way better. And Wan-Bissaka, I love Wan-Bissaka. The other 2 I don't really care about, but I think Wan-Bissaka is a quality talent, but he's had a bad season. Like there's nothing else you can say. So these guys are against Ronaldo. Yeah. You guys suck.
Yeah. And I love Ronaldo, obviously. So I'm obviously gonna defend him against those players because like similar to what we just talked about with Lukaku, what have those players done for the club? And it's nothing. I saw it's actually I didn't even think about this. Luke Shaw has won 3 trophies for Manchester United, right? But do you want to hear the most impressive stat? In all of those finals, Luke Shaw did not play. I love Luke Shaw, don't get me wrong, but that is just a stat. I feel like that has to be put out there. Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, loved them. Sorry, I don't fuck with them anymore. What have they brought to the club? I've seen us lose like 4 semifinals, and the final that we were in, it went to penalties and we lost. So no, I'm so done with those players because, especially the fullbacks, Maguire is kind of hard to be expendable because he is 80 million pounds, but like, we've seen Tella's been balling this season, and Dalot, and I've been a guy. He has been amazing. He's really improved. I'm not going to say he's been a top 5, fullback in the league, but he's improved though himself. So I'm really happy with that. But honestly.
What do you mean you're not going to say he's top 5 fullback in the league? According to like the way Arsenal fans do it, if you have like a good 5 games, you're just top 5 in your position in the league.
Oh my God. But
people are trying to argue Ramsdale better than Mendy. I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, whoa, bro, that's a big debate. One is a great football player on Arsenal. The other one is in prison. So I don't know, man.
Oh God. Actually, I think actually Benjamin Mendy just got out on bail.
Oh, he did? I didn't even know that. Back. I guarantee you Arsenal will sign Benjamin Mendy.
Imagine.
Yeah, but anyways, it's funny that both our clubs are going through these transfer turmoils with these players you think they're better than the club. But no, like in all seriousness, like you could, if these players are making a vendetta against like Bruno, but like Bruno or Rashford or Pogba or Sancho, so be it. That's just turmoil between the club. But they're trying to get the greatest football player to ever play the game out of the club. Like there's something about that
Facts.
that I can't fathom, you know? Like if Maguire was like, yeah, Rashi's lazy in training, or like, oh, Sancho's this and that. Sure, you know, you are the captain. Those are your younger players, whatever. Cristiano Ronaldo is arguably the best player to ever play the game. And in my opinion, the best player in Premier League history. You know, granted, you know, there is like Henry and all that stuff, but to me, it's Ronaldo. So it's like, how could you possibly want that man out of the club? He's won
Yeah.
his Champions League. He's won his 3 league titles on the bounce. No other club has done that. And he, you know, he's a part of that team that did that. He's won us FA Cups. He's won us League Cups, Community Shields, Club World Cups. Maguire, his best moment in a United shirt actually came in an England jersey when he scored that amazing penalty. You know, like if he stopped playing today, I'd be like, yeah, man, he had a sick penalty, and it's probably one of the best penalties I've ever seen. He didn't even do it for Manchester United. He did it for England.
That's what I always go back to with Harry Maguire. I know you've defended him a lot in the past, and last season he was decent, but he has his up and downs, right? Even when he's playing really good, I'm never sure that the next game. I'm never like confident that the next game from Harry Maguire will be good. I'm always like, is this going to be a game where he plays like absolute garbage and he looks lost on the pitch, or is he going to have a really good game? You never know with Harry Maguire. He's so inconsistent, and yeah, I don't know. I thought he should have been stripped of the captain's armband. Like, I don't think he should have gotten it ever, to be honest, in the first place. But he should have lost it a long time ago. And yeah, like you said, like you can't do that against Ronaldo, someone who's a club legend and, you know, greatest player. Whether you want to say he's the greatest Premier League player of all time, that's up for debate because his prime wasn't in the Premier League, but greatest player to ever play in the Premier League. That's undebatable because at worst, Ronaldo is second best of all time, arguably the first best player of all time. So he's been in the Premier League, and now I don't know. If you just literally just look at this season, you don't even have to look at the past. Without Ronaldo this season, you guys would be out of the Champions League.
Exactly. You know, and it's like, wow, like what, like I can't believe Maguire, because you know this is a player that got gifted the armband, because kind of like the whole Grealish is City move, we only did that because he's England's captain, or sorry, because he's English. It's like, yo, we're getting a big center back and he's English. You know, it was apparently our first real good like English defender since what's his face, Rio. So it's like, okay, I see exactly why we did that. De Gea deserved that armband. Like he 100% deserved that. And even since he's been at the club, like Bruno's deserved it.
Bruno,
you know? So it's like even I'm not going to say Ronaldo should be captain, but even he deserves it more than Maguire.
Easily.
It's like, I can't believe it, because this is a player fight you know I've defended with my life. To him to come out and do this is like on par, if not even worse than this whole Lukaku situation. To say that and to create this big turmoil between the team at this point in the season and whatnot, like you're just taking the piss. Like get out of the club.
Yeah, and I know he hasn't had the best season, and he's had some injuries and stuff, but I'd even rather Rashford be the captain. I'd rather Pogba be the captain over Harry Maguire. I'd rather almost any other player in that lineup be the captain over Harry Maguire. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's not the captain. He can't do it. I don't know. For me, you cannot have someone like Cristiano Ronaldo on your team, you know, a serial winner. This guy's the best Champions League player of all time. And you have a guy who hasn't won a trophy as the captain. You cannot do that, bro. He hasn't won a major trophy as a captain.
Yeah, it just it's just so hard to see, because you can't do that with Ronaldo. Like you could call out anyone on that team and I'd be like, yeah, you know what, man, like sure, they haven't been playing well or yada yada yada. You can't call out Ronaldo. Like you said, if we wouldn't be in the Champions League without him, you know, him and Bruno in the Champions League have been world class. That's why I give those two a pass specifically, because if they have a bad performance in the Premier League, you know, we said this before, they're doing it on the European stage, and that's what actually matters to me. So
because the league is pretty much lost for you guys.
Exactly. So those two get a pass no matter what. But come on, man, to say, yeah, like let's, you know, I don't like how critical he is of me. Ronaldo is probably the most critical player you're gonna play with in your career. And look at what that got him at Madrid. You know, 3 UCLs on the bounce, 4 in total there, league titles, Ballon d'Ors, not to mention the United resume we already mentioned. You know, he has the record for the most Serie A goals in a single calendar year, I'm pretty sure. So he won Serie A titles as well, won Italian cups. So it's like this guy wins. Harry Maguire does not win. It's like, how
he doesn't have a major trophy.
It's like, how could that guy be doing the vendetta against Ronaldo? How could anyone, unless you're Lionel Messi, I just feel like you have no right to say, yeah, we should get this guy out of the club. And that's something Messi would never do. Like, he would never be like, yeah, get Ronaldo out.
Because Messi's not an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I just don't know what to say. And, I just think that it's funny because back in like 2011, I think it was, Sir Alex Ferguson wanted Varane so Varane could partner up against Phil Jones. And then we saw those two finally as a duo in 2022. And like, to be honest, like that was probably our best defensive performance by two center backs this season. I know it's just unlucky because like the way we conceded, it was neither their faults. The cross came in. It was just a clearance that just so happened to go to Neves. I'm not going to blame Jones for that. But like, if Phil Jones is going to have a better performance in one game than anything Maguire has done all season, then why should he not start next game? Or like if Eric Bailly, granted, I think he's either at the AFCON or just, dealing with fitness issues right now. If he's going to have solid performances every time out, why is he not in the starting lineup? If Victor Lindelof, who before we got Varane was looking like Toni Kroos at the back, sending balls to the top, getting assists against, Leeds and other people in Champions League, why is he not in the team? We've seen guys like, the fullbacks like Shaw and Wan-Bissaka get replaced. We've seen Rashford get dropped at times. We saw Bruno get dropped at times. We saw, granted, McFred hasn't really got dropped, but we've seen other midfielders come in, like, Matic has played. Why is Harry? I just hate that he's the most protected guy on the team because we have solutions, It's like we have center backs who could play. Tuanzebe is going to go get good experience in Italy. If he's looking good by the time it's the summer, then why isn't Tuanzebe going to start next to Varane next season, So
yeah, I think Tuandini is already better.
Yeah, no cap, bro. This is actually funny. Tuandini's performance against Neymar and Mbappe is one of the best individual performances I've ever seen in recent years. And I'm not even just exaggerating that.
So it was so good.
Yeah. So like, has Maguire done a Tuandini? I just don't think
he hasn't.
And I defend Maguire all the time.
I've been saying Rudiger is clear. Obviously, this season I don't even think there's a debate. But even last season, like, I don't know. You want to say back three tacks, whatever you want to say. Like Rudiger is so good, man. We played him as a central center back against Tottenham, and he was killing it, bro. I don't know. He's so good. I know we're off Chelsea right now. I do want to say Real Madrid have pulled out for Rudiger.
Oh.
Apparently his wages are just, they don't want to pay that because they were basically like, to stay at Chelsea, he's asking for 200K a week, and to go to Real Madrid, he was saying like 400K a week. And they were like, okay, like we just paid Alaba 400K a week. And the thing is, it didn't really make sense from the beginning anyway, because Alaba is playing center back and Eder Militao is playing center back, and they're really good. Like they've been having a great season. So I didn't really make sense that they would go for Rudiger anyway, because they already have two center backs. It's not like Alaba is going to play in the midfield. They have the best midfield probably in the world. And then like Ferland Mendy is a quality left back. So, yeah, like it didn't make sense at all. But yeah, I've been saying Rudiger is just clear of Maguire from time. I know we've had our long, huge debates on it off camera, but yeah, I think there is no debate this season.
It's just shocking because, I feel like Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, their form has dipped. But like, again, this is not just me going off on them, but because of that, we've said, oh, okay, we have Telles, who's a great playmaking fullback. Let's get him in there. He's been great this year. Same with Dalot, he's a playmaking fullback who's good with both feet and could dribble. Because one thing about, Wan-Bissaka, which again, I'm not going to fault him for it because he does other things at an elite level, but he's not a good dribbler, right? Yeah. The difference between those two is that Dalot, I'm not going to say he's a world-class dribbler, but compared to Wan-Bissaka, he is. He's a great dribbler going forward. We've seen it, in the Champions League last season, a few seasons ago when he was on the team. We saw it at AC Milan. And we're seeing it now. He's a great threat going forward because he's so good at dribbling. So they've been in the team over those two. But it's like, okay, we have Varane. Why not just play Bailly and Varane? You know how good that duo would be? Just hearing it. Same, I'm not going to say Varane and Lindelof would be an amazing duo, but you have a legit ball playing center back next to Varane. Like, that's great. We don't need to rely on Varane to, spread the ball or whatever. But why isn't Maguire? And it's because the incompetence of Ed Woodward, and it all comes back to Woodward. And I hate him, to pay 80 million for Harry Maguire. And that's what really set us up. If we bought Maguire for 40 million, he would be out of the team. But it's because we paid 80 million, we have to play him.
Yeah, you're not going to get that investment back, especially after this season. Like, how much do you think you guys could get for Maguire right now if you wanted to sell him?
It depends on who's paying for him, but and this is the thing. If you ask me, he could go for 40, at this rate. But Woodward, well, on Woodward's note, actually, we announced yesterday, this has gone under the radar because of this whole turmoil, that Woodward is leaving the club officially. So I'm very happy about that. But if it was up to Ed Woodward, because he is only leaving in February. So if he were to get a deal done in theory this window, he would probably be like, yeah, we want 75 mil from Maguire. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it's just that move might have like killed us in the long run. And, the thing that I used to defend about him is that, okay, he's actually getting into the team because of this price tag, but he was playing good. He wasn't playing this bad. He's playing this bad and getting into every team week because we paid so much. It's like, no, that can't happen. If he was playing on like Chelsea or City or Liverpool or even Barcelona, and we know how of a joke they are, he would be dropped from the team. If he was on Bayern, he'd be dropped from the team. PSG would be dropped. But it's like the English tax. Like if he was a foreign player, I hate to say it, but it's true. If he was from like France or Germany, he wouldn't be in the team. He just has that English captain tax on him, which is so annoying.
He shouldn't even be a captain. But Maguire is just I didn't even know he was starting that whole thing against Ronaldo. But yeah, that's crazy to me. But let's move on. Let's go to Man City versus Arsenal. Man City beat them 2-1, 93rd minute. Just banger by Rodri. Like Rodri's having a great season, man.
Yeah, he's been looking very good. We've been very critical of Arsenal on the show before in the past, and I feel like we've always said, well, against the big teams, they don't really show up. But credit to them, they did have a pretty good performance against Manchester City at the Emirates. I don't want to sound like I'm going to pity them, but they might have been unlucky with that whole non-penalty call against Odegaard, I think it was. But at the end of the day, they missed an open net. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that like I'm a better like professional footballer than Martinelli. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I could score a Premier League goal. But to me, missing an open net, whether it's on your strong foot or your weak foot, is inexcusable. Like, I know people saying, oh, well, it was coming fast from him on his weak foot. No, you're a professional footballer. There's an
open net is open net.
Yeah, like you put the ball in the back of the net.
And the worst part is, though, is Arsenal fans talk about Martinelli like he's like the next coming of Jesus. Like, like he's some god. Like he's going to be the new Neymar or, like the replacement for Henry. And then he goes and does like this. I don't know. For me, like, I feel like Martinelli is just like, his whole name is kind of been brought up off that one goal he scored against Chelsea where Conte just slipped and then he just ran in a straight line and scored. I think that's his whole career pretty much. That one highlight has built him up to like, in Arsenal fans at least, as to like some like great young talent. I think he's just like mid.
Yeah, I just think that like I'm not gonna make the comparison because I hate it, but Arsenal fans do it. Imagine if that was Mason Greenwood who had that miss. Like they would be on a field day, you know. And the funniest stat I saw is that Greenwood in his Premier League career has 20 Premier League goals, and Martinelli and Saka combined, who apparently are better than Greenwood, have 20 goals. So granted, one is a playmaker, but I just thought that was funny. But to me, like, if Arsenal fans want to complain all they want about getting the non-call, I'm not going to say it was or wasn't a penalty, but at the end of the day, they lost by one goal and they missed an open net. They probably deserved at least a point, but they missed an open net. And I feel like that's where any conversation of like, oh, we were robbed, we didn't deserve, yada, yada, it just goes out the window. Credit to City for scoring in the 93rd minute, but at the end of the day, Arsenal, you guys missed an open net. And if you guys scored, you probably, I'm not going to say you would have won the game, but you could have switched tactics. You could have been more, defensive, been more, compact, but you didn't. So you lost. So I don't feel bad for them for losing. I just think it was an undeserving game where I feel like they deserved at least a point. But
I think it should have been a tie. I definitely think like they deserved a tie. I don't think they deserve the win, really. Like you said, like the penalty, you could say definitely unlucky, but that open shot basically was your chance, and you fluffed it. So, I mean, I can't really, go too against them because they did play really well. Like, I will give them their credit. That's probably the best I've seen Arsenal play against a big team this entire season. They
Yeah.
haven't actually played well against a big team not one time this season, and I'm not counting Tottenham as a big team. So, uh, yeah, like they played really well, definitely better than I expected them to play, and it definitely caused Man City some issues. Uh, Kind of unlucky not to get a point, but I don't know. I do think Saka is really good, and I think Smith Rowe is quite good, no matter how much we don't like him. Um, I do think he is quite good, quite the talent. I just think Martinelli is overrated, man. I really
Yeah,
don't
no,
think he's that
I
guy.
agree. Like, I don't want to say that like I've been in a biased England fan because of Saka and Smith Rowe, but like since the start, I've always said, nah, like you guys at Arsenal just love Martinelli so much. Like he's not better than either of those two. And like I think the conversation, I might be, just sounding crazy, but it should be between Martinelli and Nketiah if he's the better player.
Yeah,
I don't think he's on the same level as Saka and Smith Rowe. And that's not his fault. He's a young player. He has a lot of time to get better. I'm not
hmm
going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, he's never going to be good. Because the main difference between Martinelli and Greenwood that I always said is that you could just tell Greenwood's going to be a good player based on his
yeah,
ability today. He
yeah,
has 10,000 years to get better. Saka and Smith Rowe fall in that same category. You could just tell that they're going to be class players. But
yeah.
Martinelli, and you just got to, but I feel like he has to work for it a bit more and just improve. But there's no shame in that. He's what, like 20, 21 years old. He has a lot of time to get better, and I
But
think he will. But
I think this happens a lot with Brazilians, though.
yeah,
Brazilians heavily rely on their talent. They're not really hard workers generally. We've seen this with people like Neymar, Ronaldinho, like even R9. Like they're heavy into their talent. They focus a lot on their talent and their skill on the ball, which is world class. But if you're not going to work, you're never going to last a long time, and it's going to be hard to get to that top level, right? You got to be an insane talent, and I don't think Martinelli is on the talent level of anyone like I just mentioned, like those
yeah,
Brazilian legends, right? So, uh, he definitely has to work for it, and like you said, like he's young, he's got some time. I just think like they think he's a lot better right now than he is. And I don't have any English bias, but I think Saka and Smith Rowe are clear, like
yeah.
insanely clear. I also think Greenwood is clear. I also think maybe you don't want to count him. Maybe he's a little older, but Mason Mount is clear. Foden is clear. They're all clear of Martin. Like all of these young like attacking players are all better than Martinelli. Even Conor Gallagher is clear, and I know he's a box to box, but all those guys I'd take over Martinelli.
Yeah. And again, like no shame in being like, oh, like he has to like work for it because he's only 21. But yeah, like you said, all those players you mentioned, I feel like if you hype them up, it's for like a good reason. I've just never been sold on Martinelli. And you mentioned the Conte mishap, whatever you want to call it. Like that game ended 2-2. Like if that was a Martinelli game winner, then like you know what? Like you probably would have to concede it too. Sick. That's a cool moment. You just won the game at Stamford Bridge. You do your
Mm-hmm.
little B Tech Mbappe celebration, yada yada yada. Cool, cool, cool. It was a 2-2 result. Like people
Yeah,
people don't for like remember that. The game, like Arsenal came out of that game with the same amount of points as Chelsea. So yeah, to me, it's like he's living off one moment. And even when Jadon Sancho did a similar thing against Chelsea at the bridge with Jorginho, if you went on the timeline, it was always, yeah, man, Sancho's goal was good, but like don't forget who did it first. It's like Martinelli. It's like,
my
come
God,
on, man. It's like you can't be talking about that goal in
can't be serious.
2022. But yeah, I just think that I'm not gonna blame the game on Martinelli, but at the end of the day, they didn't get a point because you missed an open net. So,
Yeah,
and then I don't really want to say the same thing for 3 weeks in a row with Manchester City about, yeah, this is when they get hot at around Christmas and New Year's, and they do it all the time because it's just boring at this point. But I'm just not surprised that they won again. They can't seem to lose, so it's pretty boring talking about City these days. But yeah, I mean, credit to Arsenal for putting on a good performance, but Rodri with that banger and then amazing celebration in front of those Arsenal fans, just like
yeah, it was
Adebayor
hilarious.
did back in the day. So
Yeah,
yeah, no surprise there. But yeah, I think that game really just sums up Arsenal, I feel like, as a club.
facts. Let's talk about the West Ham Palace game, 3-2.
Yeah.
Lanzini with an absolute screamer. Like, that was one of the best goals I've seen all season, for sure.
That was a scream. We saw the Kovacic goal, and then we see that goal. It's like two great goals in the same game. We could be both contenders for Premier League Goal of the Year. But yeah, that was an insane skill. The concentration on that goal was just insane. And West Ham, they've been looking good all season. That's another thriller. Granted, they probably didn't want to win that game 3-2. Probably wanted to get a clean sheet because it's only Crystal Palace. But yeah,
West Ham as of recent have not been as good as the beginning of the season, though. I don't know if it's the whole COVID thing is hurting them, but they have been kind of dipping in form throughout December, or towards the end of December, and that's why they're not in fourth anymore. I'm pretty sure it's still Arsenal. Obviously, I think West Ham, Man United, and Tottenham all have games in hand over Arsenal where they can all overtake Arsenal. Just because they just haven't played as many games, but. Yeah, are currently Arsenal in fourth, but West Ham, like, they're still showing that they're a team to be feared. Like, they're a good team, man. And this January transfer window could be big for them. They're competing with us to get Luka Digne. They're definitely. I definitely think Digne, like any team in the league that doesn't already have like a world class left back or is dealing with injuries, you should be going after him. Like, he's gonna leave this January. He won't be too expensive. I think he wants $100K a week, which, like. Sure, man. Like, Chilwell is being paid like 180 for us. I think he's like our fifth highest paid player. So 100K a week for Digne, like, perfectly fine with that. It's just now we're battling with West Ham to see who can get it, and I think that would be a great signing for West Ham or us.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see because on one hand you got we need if you're Digne, it's like you playing for a top team in London. In West Ham now, but like you're playing with the Champions League team with Chelsea. I'm not going to say completely out of the title race, but he'll get minutes for sure because Chile's injured, and he will play European football for sure. But then, come the summertime, what's his role going to be because Chilwell's going to be back? Then you got West Ham on the other hand, who he's probably a better football player than Aaron Cresswell because we've seen how good he's been, Digne, and he could potentially play him out of the side and then be there long term. So I feel like it's what does he want to do with his career? I'm not going to say he's going to fizzle out because, hey, man, he could be world class for Chelsea if he goes there, and he might even play Chilwell out of the team. Who knows?
He's in his prime.
Yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But I feel like it's, what does he want to make for his career? We've seen him play for, I'm pretty sure he was at Barcelona at one point in his career. He was at AS Roma as well. So, I mean, he would definitely be a great player for both teams. It's just a matter of, like, what does he want to do in the long term? Because, like you said, he is going to be in his prime. So, I mean, are you willing to have him? Yeah, Chelsea. I'm assuming it's a yes.
Of course. We need him the most right now. We need him a lot. Marcus Alonso just can't cut it. So I definitely want Luka Digne. I just want a left back, but he seems like the clearest and safest option. So I definitely want him, but West Ham definitely want him as well. He's a real talent. Like I said, he's in his prime. His wages won't cost that much, and he won't cost that much to buy because Rafa doesn't want him there. But I think whoever's going to get Luka Digne needs to do it like as soon as possible before Rafa gets fired, pretty much. Because if he gets fired and the next manager comes in and is like, whoa, we have this top tier left back in his prime, who has started for France and he's just chilling here on the bench. Like, why wouldn't I play them? So if we want Luka Digne or West Ham want, like, got to get it done like now because Rafa might get fired. He might get sacked like any second now.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be honest, I like Rafa Benitez is like a Liverpool legend, if you will. So like, I don't like him. So, I mean, I hope he gets fired. But
he's terrible as Chelsea manager as well. So,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the new manager comes in, but like you just said, if you want Digne, you got to do it now because you imagine me like, yo, this is like a top 5 left back in the league and he's on our bench.
Yeah, like starting. Rafa's such an idiot. And speaking of Rafa, Brighton actually just beat them 3-2.
Yeah.
And it just seems like Rafa just can't get it right over at Everton. And I think he's out of his depth. I don't think he's the manager he once was. I do think he was pretty good back in the day. With Liverpool, like I said, he wasn't really great as Chelsea's manager. We didn't really like him because he's a Liverpool manager, like the fact that he's at Everton is like so weird right now,
Yeah.
and it clearly is just not working. So, like I said, like he could get sacked any moment. I would not be surprised. And Brighton have been back on some good form as of recent. Obviously, they almost lost to us, and they came back last second,
Oh yeah.
which kind of sucked. But they're playing a little bit better, because you remember at the beginning of the season they were one of the top teams. Like they were actually like in European contention. So yeah, I mean they're back to top form. I mean, to be fair, Everton aren't great, but decent win. And yeah, just last game as well, Brentford come from behind to beat Villa 2-1. I mean, Villa, we just saw they actually just signed Coutinho on loan, I think, for the rest of the season. So cool signing, reuniting with Gerrard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because it's funny. I feel like it's just a Barca curse, because Coutinho, like it's weird, because at Bayern he actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
In the Champions League, he was pretty good. He did his due in the league, but they didn't re-sign him for whatever reason. So I was surprised about that. And back on Barca, he's like an outcast. So it'll be cool to see him play in the Premier League again, back with Gerrard. That Villa team. They're gonna have Buendia and Coutinho, so that'll be a good little duo on the wings there, assuming he plays on the wing. And then they're gonna have whether it's Ings or Watkins in that midfield, in that striker position. So it'll be interesting to see. Gerrard, he's had a decent start to his Aston Villa career as a manager. So I think this is a great signing for him. I didn't think, if you told me back in 2014, in what is that, 5 years, 6 years, that those two would be at Aston Villa, one as a coach and one as a player, I would call you crazy. But hey, man, this is where we are. So I don't think he's gonna be there in the long run. I can imagine going back to Barcelona, but I'm sure he's going to give it his all, while he's there. It'll be exciting to see him play. And hopefully he gets like a special card in FIFA that I could buy, because I don't have a team. So there's always positives.
I think it was an SBC, but I think good move. I will say about like the Bayern thing earlier, like he was good for Bayern. It's just with Bayern, like Muller is just kind of like their like creative guy, like as like their like he's like their main dude. This is why also James didn't stay there for a while, because Muller is just he's that guy. And then when you have players like Gnabry and Sané and Koeman, like all three of those guys are better than Coutinho. So I'd rather play any of those three. So I understand why he didn't stay, but he was good there. And I think Barcelona is just kind of a toxic club, and they ruin players. I saw them do it to one of my favorite players, Griezmann. Griezmann was on pace, looking like he was going to become one of the best La Liga players in the world, and one of the best French players in the world. And like that Euros and that World Cup performance, like he was outstanding for us, for France. And he goes to Barcelona, his career has been ruined. And I don't know if that's specifically Barcelona, or if that's maybe the coaching at Barcelona. I'm not exactly sure, but it kind of just looks like Barcelona, if you're not Messi, it just ruins like top talent. Umtiti, I know Umtiti had injuries, but Umtiti was looking like the next French giant at the back. Like he was looking like the next Desailly. He was so good, man. And for us in the World Cup, like he was world class. And even for Barcelona at the beginning, he was world class. And he's had injuries and stuff, and now he's like they treat him like trash, and they wanted him to take a pay cut for Messi. It's like you're treating me like trash. Like, no, man. So and Dembele as well. Like, I don't know, maybe Barcelona just hate French players. They just bring them in to ruin them. But it just made me hate Barcelona even more. I already hate them as a Chelsea fan for what they've done to us in the past and rigging games. But the fact that they've ruined some of my favorite players now, I despise Barcelona. They're probably one of my least favorite teams of all time.
Hey, man, all they need to do now is sign Rabiot and ruin another French player.
Well, he's already shit, so you can't ruin. Please buy him though. That would be cool.
Yeah, no,
but
it's a weird one, because with Barcelona, I feel like with French players, I guess more recently, and besides Messi, I feel like South American players. We saw how Neymar got treated towards the end, and even Suarez. Like that was like MSN, one of the best trios in the world. I feel like the way they
Suarez got treated like crap, man. That was so bad.
horrible with them. I feel like the way Danny Alves left initially, it's like, whoa, how did, if he's still going to play at a top level, why would we get rid of him and send him off to Juventus?
Club legend, man.
So it's like even him, and I just feel like, now that Messi's gone, I remember back in the day, it was always like, oh, guys, when Messi leaves, Barcelona's really just going to be like a horrible club. And everyone thought, nah, there's just no way. But like, it really shows now.
Yeah, they are a horrible club.
Yeah. And it's like, without Messi, they're in Europa League. And it's crazy to think because, when United went into Europa League, we were kind of at a period of time where it's like, okay, you know what? Like, it just so happened. Like, we lost Ferguson, yada, yada, yada. But at least we won that competition. We still made to a finals when we got dealt there. I just don't see Barcelona winning Europa League like at all. Like I wouldn't even go as far to call them a Europa League team because I feel like a Europa League team is someone who's actually going to compete for that title. The way, we saw United do, Inter Milan when they were in Sevilla, you don't got to talk about Sevilla. But it's like
Sevilla are probably gonna win it again.
Yeah. Then there's Barcelona, who I feel like you're just there because they didn't make it through. So I don't know, that club as a whole, they're just down bad.
Yeah, they're. It makes me so happy to see them down bad, though. I like it. Screw Barcelona. But talking about another team in Atletico Madrid, they just sold Kieran Trippier to Newcastle for 12 million, which we were talking about a little bit briefly before we started the episode, but I thought it was crazy that literally just like 5 months ago, you guys wanted Trippier and they were saying what 40 to 50 million.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
Now they're selling him to Newcastle for 12 million. And for me, maybe I'm looking too far into it. Seems kind of shady. It kind of seems maybe like some underground deal kind of went on that they're not reporting to the public because there's no way that Newcastle are the richest team in Premier League history now. They are literally the richest. And you're charging them 12 million for Trippier, who was one of Atletico's best players last season. 12 million. When in the summer you're going to charge Man U 40 to 50 million. That seems kind of like sus to me.
And like, with a player like Trippier too, similar to the whole Chelsea and Theo Hernandez, thing that's going on right now, the player's price will be, inflated during the window. That's mid-season. They're losing a key player mid-season and they're taking 12 mil. Like, I wish, well, maybe not that badly, but I wish we came and said, oh, no, 15 mil, because like
even us, now that Reece James is out for like 2 months, if not more, we were into him too. 12 mil.
Like, that's ridiculous. And, Trippier, I'm not going to say he's going to win Newcastle the Premier League, but, like, he's a Premier League proven player. He was decent at Tottenham. He is English, so he does have the English tax to him in the game. He's going to be a fan favorite. And I think one of the funnier stats is that he's now the highest rated Newcastle player in FIFA since Michael Owen. So that's also funny. So you can imagine how long it's been. But it's weird. Yeah. To go off what you said, that has to be money laundering or something like that.
There has to be something wrong.
No way.
If they came, like, let's say I was the director of Chelsea and they say, especially that we need like fullbacks right now. Like, we're even looking into Sergino Dest on Barcelona and we actually are interested in Tagliafico. I know you brought him up before, but we're interested in him now. So we were actually looking at Trippier. If they came to me and said, you want Trippier for 15 mil? Please, like, of course. So that seems very sus to me. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe they didn't want to like deal with financial fair play, so they did like a deal under the table for like an extra like 50 million that we're not seeing, because there's no way he just went to Newcastle for 12 million, man.
Even if it was 25 million, I'd still be like, whoa, like that's
an underpay. Yeah,
like that's such an underpay. 12 mil, like I'm pretty sure, funny enough, like this comes to my head, I think Arsenal paid more for Petr Cech than that deal. So it's like, what? I don't even know, man. But I definitely
I think we actually sold him for 12 mils or like to Arsenal. So it was around the same. Yeah, and that was Petr Cech at the end of his career. He'd already been replaced by Courtois. And that's crazy. 12 mil for Trippier is insane.
Yeah, and he's gonna go right into the team. I don't know off the top of my head who's been the consistent right back at Newcastle, but he's gonna go in. He's gonna supply because he's a pretty good player. he's been pretty good for Atletico Madrid. And Diego Simeone said he hopes he stays because he's one of their better players. So if Simeone, who in my opinion is a world-class coach, is touting this player to be, a key player on Atletico Madrid, then he still has got something to offer. So that's really interesting to see that he only went for 12 mil. And I'm disappointed, and I'm sure you are too, because like both of our clubs wanted him. So I'm disappointed as a United fan that we got snubbed of him, and you're probably disappointed as a Chelsea fan because you needed someone like him right now.
Yeah, we definitely could have used Trippier. So it's kind of sus to me. Maybe I'm looking too far into it. Maybe if you guys disagree, tell us in the comment section below. But I think that's a sus deal. But let's move on to just some other quick transfer news before we end off. Man U are linked to Ruben Neves as they were before. You guys need someone like that. And Ruben Neves is having an outstanding season. Like, he's been so good recently. So I think that would be a great move. Like, what do you think? Do you think you would want him? How much do you think he costs?
I've always rated Ruben Neves, or Ruben Neves, I want to call him. But, when I saw the reports of this, I just checked Twitter and Instagram, and the main comments from all the United fans were, this is a great deal, but why did we not do this 3 years ago when we were like linked to him? It's like, great deal, 2 years too late. It's like, yeah, I feel like Ruben Neves, great player, don't get me wrong, but why are we only trying to get him now? We clearly saw the talent before. That's why we linked with him, but we never made a serious move because he's still on Wolves. So I guess it only took a 83rd minute banger at Old Trafford for us to actually want to get him. And at this point, if that's what it takes, then sure, so be it. So I personally don't think we're going to get him in January because he's a key player to Wolves. And I think if we do get Ruben Neves now, it will have to pay like 65, 70 mil. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
But if we do it in the summer, it'll probably be more like 45, 50 million, because you can't take a key player away from a club like that mid-season.
Yeah, not mid-season, especially because they're playing good right now and they're pushing for European qualification.
Yeah, so I like the idea of getting Neves now, just don't think it's going to happen. But the other name that I saw was Bukayo Kamara from Marseille. I do think he's a pretty good talent. He used to be a center back, but he's been playing more as a mid now. That's why I'm kind of iffy, because at the end of the day, he won't have the same like natural ability on the ball as a midfielder would.
But you need a defensive mid. You don't need, because if you guys, you guys have offered Pogba 500K a week to be the most expensive, most highest paid player in Premier League history.
Contract.
If you guys, like, I love Pogba, I think that's still an overpay. I still want him to leave, but if you guys keep Pogba, which is like still like one of the best creative midfielders in the world, you guys need someone defensive. So maybe someone who is a center back transferring to a CDM, maybe that is the better option.
Yeah, that could be it, honestly. I don't know too much about Kamara as like a player, because granted, I don't watch like Marseille play week in, week out. So I've only just done my research. And from what I could tell, he's a decent talent. Like we said, center back turned CDM. I just hope that, the transition from Ligue 1 to Premier League, I don't know how he's going to fit with that. And because he's not a natural CDM to go at this pace, I don't know if he's the immediate option. But like you said, if we get Pogba back, that Pogba could just do that job, and he could play as more like almost like a third center back, but just in the midfield. So nonetheless, whether it's Kamara or Neves or someone else this window, I'll take anyone really. If Man United want to sign me to play CDM, I'll put it back on the boots and I'll get in there. So like I'll take anyone to play CDM at this point.
If he could kind of do the role that Declan Rice had for England in the Euros, like where he played CDM and he went for it a little bit, but he would drop back a lot, and they were basically playing like 5 at the back with Declan Rice sitting as like a little bit further center back. If they could have someone like that there, I don't know much about Kamara. I don't really keep up with Marseille, but I'm sure there's a reason that they're interested in him. They could probably feel like he can do the role. And if you keep Pogba, if you get rid of Pogba, I think Ruben Neves is a good signing. If you keep Pogba, I don't think you need Ruben Neves. I don't know if he's the guy that fits in with Pogba, especially. If you're going to pay Pogba 500K a week, he has to start. So you need someone beside him who's going to defend. I personally think Tchouaméni would be the best option for you guys. because he won't be as expensive as Declan Rice, and he's a defensive guy who's physical, gets up and down the pitch, but he's a great defender. So obviously, I don't want you to get him because I want us to get him, but I think he's the best option. I don't know much about Kamara, but you guys definitely need a defensive mid, and you guys have been saying that for months now.
It just makes me mad because, like, no disrespect to whether it's like Ruben Neves, Chilmeni thing, Kamara or anyone, I just don't get why. We have Ronaldo, we have Bruno. Why don't we have Paulinho? Like,
why?
He is the perfect center defensive mid.
You even have Dalot too.
We have Dalot as well. Like. And, even though he's not Portuguese, we also have Lindelof, who played in, the Portuguese league, Liga NOS. So
we should just do a Wolves and build the Portuguese national team.
Exactly. We have players who could just, Paulinho, you want to come play with us? All right, say no more. Get on the plane. Like, he's, in my opinion, we should be pursuing him. Now, everyone you said too, great players. But, like, if you can't get a Tchouaméni, you can't get a Declan Rice, you can't get a Neves, you're like, I don't know of any big team being involved in Paulinho just yet, but you watch, it'll be the summer. It'll be like, yeah, Chelsea, City, Bayern, all these teams are going to want Paulinho for like maybe 45, 50 million. And then we're going to come in at the end and be like, we want him too. How about 120 mil? And then everyone's going to get off him, and then we're going to get him. But it's like, that for me is the perfect player to get because we saw him at the Euros. I thought he's class. He's been having 2 great, seasons on the bounce in Liga NOS for Sporting. And he's Portuguese. We have Bruno and Ronaldo who, including like Bernard and Dalot, so that's pretty good Portuguese company right there. So if it was up to me, we would get Paulinho. But if someone were to come in this month and it is Kamara or it is Tchouaméni or it is Neves, like, I'll take it by any means. I'll take it.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, I think we should end it there.
Yeah, no, that was pretty valid. Happy to make this episode for the Bauds. I'm really gonna love these next couple soccer episodes because of this January transfer window. So there'll be extra buzz. Maybe one of your guys' teams out there will make a move too. So really excited for that. But yeah, thank you, Bauds, everyone who made it this far. And yeah, we hope you guys have a great one.
Yeah, see you guys.